So, welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast. And Marvel is coming back with another series. This one is Falcon and Winter Soldier. Continues on after the events of Avengers Endgame. I want to talk about the person that is very socially conscious. And he's out here fighting for his people. Just the other day, he said something that was very profound to me. And it blew my mind and made me rethink life itself. And he sincerely said to me, when are they going to open the clubs back up, man? Because when I hit in the system, it ain't no telling, Random questions will be answered. Who he's going home with tonight. And is it French toast or pancakes in the morning?
What the fuck, man?
James be in the back, like Crown Royal,
It's French toast.
Yeah, Keith be like vodka and tonic. Matt's like margaritas. Beast Gang of stable drinkers.
I can see Jay drinking Crown Royal. It's like a Crown Royal expression.
Jack and Coke. Right, James?
Anything dark, man.
Big Mike, how did you feel about the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I liked it. I thought it was good. Pilot episode was far different from WandaVision.
Oh, yes.
What people wanted with WandaVision, they got with this episode. Feige, about a month ago, came out and made a statement that he wanted Falcon and Winter Soldier to feel very cinematic, very movie-like. And when I was watching it, to me, it had a feel almost like Captain America Winter Soldier in a way. Even just the way they shot everything. The action scenes were great. The dialogue was good. They had one line that was really, I was like, Marvel writers have really been on it, these two shows. When Sam said, symbols mean nothing without men and women who give meaning to them or something, I was like, damn, that's a bar. I think it was just an overall good episode. They didn't give you too much. Didn't even really give you too much as far as who the villains are, but they established that with the one scene that it did have. Introduced you to a couple characters. Also introduced you to Sam's sister. You can see where the blip and how that's affected not only him, but also his family. One sense of what's going on. One cameo from Rhodey. So they're tying all those worlds together because I know he's going to have his own show on Disney+. So I think they're kind of establishing that universe. I think the biggest thing is that Sam's choice whether or not to carry the mantle that Steve gave him. And I think the consequences of that decision. And I think that's going to be one of the main focal points. Won't be the only one, but right now that's a big one. I think it was a good establishing tone for this first episode and made me want to see where this is going to go, especially going into the next episode and seeing how Sam and Bucky link up and how they interact. I think Bucky's story was really good with this too. They gave you a little insight into where he's at now. You see that he's still dealing with some trauma from the things that he did in the past, but also showing how he's trying to move forward and leave those things behind and make up for him. I thought his action scene was really, really good. For a minute, I was sitting here like, whoa, is this dude getting back to that? Found out that was just a nightmare. I thought it was a solid episode. Thought all strong. 42 minutes, wasn't quite a whole hour. There's only 6 episodes, so I hope the next ones are a little longer to flesh everything out. But opening episode, if this is considered a pilot, to me, this was a very strong episode.
All right, Keith.
Agree with Mike. I got to give kudos to Malcolm Spellman, the showrunner and writer. I didn't really know his work and I kind of dismissed him at first, but there was something that happened at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, like that last 5 minutes. The episode is showing the character are picking up the pieces of their lives, trying to move forward. You get the reason why Sam doesn't take up the mantle, the question of why you should have done it, very much at peace with saying there's no one else like Steve Rogers. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to let my friend's legacy die with him. Let them see the symbol and everything for that. Just before it all wraps up, that 2-minute blip where you see give that shield to somebody else and say, we need to do Captain America. We want to get this guy to come do it. And it was like the look on his face. Every black man that ever was has felt that. They have felt that moment where they lost opportunity or, and what's worse, a possible opportunity taken from them. Oh my goodness, they're going there with this. Immediately hype. But to Mike's points and stuff, I agree. This was very cinematic. The opening action sequence was amazing. I was impressed with how much money they put into it. Very well done. I mean, it was as good as the movies, I'm going to say. Acting was good. I like the way the lives have diverged, and they didn't fall into any kind of tropes at the very beginning. I like where it's picking up and starting, and I can't wait to see what else is the next 5 episodes.
All right, Jay.
For some reason, it gave me the feel of Winter Soldier or Captain America Winter Soldier. Just a little bit. And the reason why is because the action sequence in the beginning was very good. I was very impressed with it because I didn't know that Sam could really get down. Very good job fighting. And to piggyback on what Mike and Keith said, The writing is very good. It did hit a lot of emotional beats because you don't get to see what happened after the blip for the people that came back adult wise. I mean, you got an idea for what it was for like teenagers from Spider-Man, but for adults that had a life, that had bills, that had all this, you get to see that part of it. And then also for the heroes and how they had to deal with that. And you felt that. And also, I really enjoyed the Winter Soldier portion because it was just like him just trying to pick up the pieces from his past and trying to move on. And it's hard. He did those things that he, of course, would not have done if he was himself. But, of course, he has a sense of guilt. He's trying to come to grips or just face the reality of what he's done. And then also him having a friendship with one of the fathers, like the father of one of his victims. That was tough for him, and you felt that. And I like when shows or movies have emotional beats in it. They do it well because that gets you invested into the characters. And they did that with both of these characters. You understood what Sam was coming from with his family, possibly losing their business that they had for what ages that they may lose because of the blip and him trying to pick up the pieces and all that stuff. It's basically about recovery. This episode is about recovery and also what could have been. And I also agree with Keith. The last scene when that happened, you felt that shit too, because it's like a missed opportunity. And it's like, of course they would do that. You know, you're thinking that you're doing a good thing by giving up the mantle because the person that had the mantle was so good at it and that they embodied Captain America. Anyone else shouldn't hold it because it's going to tarnish the image. And he thought that he was doing a good thing. And then, of course, the powers that be would think otherwise and give it to someone that's probably not even worthy to hold the mantle. But I'm curious to see where this goes. I am invested. And the thing is, a lot of people actually thought that WandaVision was going to start off like that. I'm actually glad this one did because looking back, I understand why WandaVision started off the way it did and how it concluded. It all made sense. I said that before in the previous podcast. But Winter Soldier had to start off with some type of action. It felt like an actual Marvel movie.
Yeah, I like the way that this started off. So it started off with action. You also got GSP's character, Georgia St. Pierre's character, but you get to see him from Winter Soldier.
Baltrock.
And you get to see him from Winter Soldier. It starts off as a Marvel movie, as any Marvel movie would. Opening sequence, full of action, into the story, and then balancing out with story and action. And this works well. Probably would have had this be the first Disney Plus show. This felt like it should be the first Disney Plus show. And then, I mean, obviously, things with WandaVision happen to set up things moving forward, but this feels like a show that is worth paying for Disney Plus for. The equivalent to 2 movies.
It had everything. It had action. It had suspense because you were trying to figure out the terrorist. We all know. If you didn't know what was going on, you said it had like kind of that Winter Soldier feel, Captain America Winter Soldier feel, because it's kind of like a espionage spy kind of thriller set up a little bit, but also with the emotional part with the backstories and the life after the blip. It had everything. Good action, emotional beats.
And it seemed like it had the budget. It starts off with the whole flying sequence. So they could have just done that on green screen and made it look terrible, but it looks like a Marvel movie.
Wondered for a long time where Marvel was going to go after those first 4 phases and all the success that they had with that. I was kind of curious, like, how's the Disney Plus shows going to work as well as the movies and all that. But I think with these first 2 shows and going off just one episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I think one of the biggest payoffs they have is, and we've talked about how over time they've developed these characters to where now you see Vision's full arc, you see Wanda's full arc. Look where Sam is now based from where you first met him in Captain America Winter Soldier. Like Jay said, I didn't know Falcon get out like that. I remember when he started fighting at the beginning, Star was like, oh man, Sam got some skills. Yeah, like these people have developed, and to see where they're continuing to go is part of the greatness that is this whole universe that they've created. even off of this now, I'm already going, damn, like you don't have to do everything film wise. Like you said, like there's a budget. This feels like a movie. Like you could take Daredevil now and you don't have to risk putting it in the theater. You can literally do a Disney Plus show, and I have a feeling it'll be just as good, if not better, than the Netflix show. This is really solid work.
Because I misspoke, but this is probably the third reason to pay for Disney Plus. You have The Mandalorian, you have WandaVision, and you have this show. If they can keep delivering things on this level, it's worth it. But if you start getting, well, all they have are just some of the Fox movies and some of the Disney movies, Disney Plus doesn't look that attractive. But all right, let's go to scores. So, Big Mike, what score would you give this episode?
Giving it 8.5. Like I said, I thought it was a really solid episode. I don't want to rank it too high just yet. I mean, I saw it twice. Like I said, really good episode. I think it started off great. And so I have a feeling that it's just going to get better as we continue to go on.
Keith?
I have to agree. I give it an 8.5 as well. Like the way that the action sequence was phenomenal. It did lag a bit towards around, I think, some of the Sam's parts, him being in Louisiana. But I like that they filmed on location for most of the scenes. Very little use of the green screen and stuff, or they're actually using that technology the same way they do The Mandalorian. But 8.5, almost like a Marvel movie. So I can definitely see where the value with Disney Plus and Kevin Feige's direction that he's going in now. I'd say once again, it's a smart decision.
Jay?
Give it an 8.5. Enjoyed it. I'm invested from the very beginning. I'm just curious to see where this goes. And the action, like I said, I was really impressed with the action. I didn't expect that action. That's all. Not at the very beginning. Not like that. I mean, that was really well done. Really well done. And it must be the budget or something, because it was well done to the point that I keep repeating myself and talking about it. I'm just intrigued on where the story goes, because I want to know what's going on with Bucky. How is he going to deal with this? I mean, of course, through therapy, but then how is Sam going to play into this? How is it all going to work out? And how are they going to get through the trauma of being back from the blip and also having to deal with the real life shit that's possibly about to happen? So I'm looking forward to the direction that they're going, and I'm along for the ride. So I give it 8.5.
All right, so I'll give this an 8. It's a good start, solid start. It is keeping me interested for these additional episodes. Also, giving me some hope that this experiment with Marvel TV shows doesn't turn into be things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They just didn't have the wherewithal to really put a lot of effort into it to maintain it alongside of the movies. But this really keeps me interested in it. And it's showing some arcs for characters, setting things up. So just really interested to see what they bring moving forward. So, all right. That is the Beast Game Podcast.